Alright, guys, this is the third video. So, a lot of Negroes and whites, they want to say black people were owned by slaves. There's no evidence of black slave owners. I could pull up a video on YouTube, right? And show you a video of a black man and a white man come together talking about that the white man's ancestor owned the black man, right? So this is one of the videos they love to use, right? And I'm glad, right? So we got Peter Hairston and Jester Hairston, owner and slave, right? Here, the descendant of slaves and the descendant of their owners talk. Peter Hairston was the great grandson of Jester's grandfather's owner, right? Here we go.
Remember now, when we did meet, after knowing you so long.
I know, it's a long time. That's right. I've still got the record of you doing the song Gossip Evil thing.
You
gave me the first time you came here, yeah.
Is that so?
If you notice, they're both wearing the same clothes, bruh. I mean, they got different color pants, but they're literally both wearing the same attire, same glasses. Wouldn't he be wearing something rich and him something poor? Just saying, right?
Oh.
I've still got that record.
Well, then that's a long time ago.
It has been a long time ago.
I don't know whether I was still in college or after college.
No, it was after college.
After college.
Yeah,
And I finished.
But it was before you started doing the old deacon and amen.
Oh my, yeah, because
yeah.
Oh yeah, I knew you long before.
Oh
then.
yeah, that's right.
I finished college in 1929.
Oh.
Yeah.
I would have been fairly young then. I would have still been 16.
You were?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that was after that.
It was long after that.
Yeah, long after that, because I went to school.
I think it really was after the Second World.
I just want to say something right quick. Now, we don't know what he was doing at 16 years old. However, being honest, he probably was on a farm somewhere. Now, I don't know, I'm still learning my ancestry, but I know in 1916, my ancestor was sharecropping. I'm not saying he's a descendant of a slave. I'm just saying I have pictures, which I posted on my channel before, of my ancestor sharecropping. Right? You know, his ancestor was, in college in 1916. His most likely farmer, right? Or sharecropping too. He was in college. He was in college. He was probably sharecropping, 16 years old, right? Let's get back to the video.
World War when I came
after
home.
Second World
War. Yeah, that we met,
yeah,
but it was soon after that.
Yeah.
Jester, what is it like for you to come back to this plantation?
Well, this is my first time here at this plantation, and I was just trying to ask Peter some questions about this because I never saw it before, and here I am trying to.
Oh, Jester, you stayed here once before.
I did?
Yes, you did. You used to tease me about taking my bed because you came to Knoxville to conduct a choir. You were having some sort of a symposium or something down in at Pfeiffer College, and you came to Lexington,
I
and then you came back here and stayed with me here.
Stayed with you there?
Yeah, but you've been here before that.
Oh, I
that.
didn't know that. I'd forgotten it. You see.
Well, okay.
Now that's good
we
someone.
We have to make people remember when they
remember
get
like that. Yeah, I didn't know that.
That's right.
Because this looked like.
He just said that he don't remember ever coming here, and he just said, "Hold up, I saw you, and you took my bed." Blah blah blah. Right? He like, oh, now I remember. Oh wait, so now you remember because he telling the truth, and you're not. Let's get back.
Like the first time I've ever seen such a beautiful thing, and I was thinking, here I am on an old plantation of the Hairstons that used to own my grandparents.
That's right.
And all my on my father's side, the Hairstons, they all grew up here along with Squire, like
That's right.
before Squire's time. but they were all part of this plantation.
Well,
Well, he doesn't make you call him Hairston.
No, they were Hostons, but I grew up in Pennsylvania, where we said Hairston.
the Yankees taught him wrong how to mispronounce it.
Yeah, yeah, we were called up in Pennsylvania. I grew up in a little town outside of Pittsburgh called Homestead, Pennsylvania, and that's when I was in first and second grade, all up there in that little town in Homestead, and we said Hairston up there, you see, like Yankees, but I didn't know the Hoston name. My mother used to say Hostons when she tell us about her husband, you know,
That's right.
Lewis Hoston, and she used to talk about we were Hostons.
Well, you know, yesterday we found some of your cousins over at Blues Creek.
Yeah, over there at Blues Creek.
Where you were born.
Yeah, I was born there.
Well, I'm glad you were born there in North Carolina. Then we can really claim you.
Yeah, I was born. That's the first that I knew of my old hometown, where I was born in 1901.
Listen, what if you can start your own lending business, helping other businesses get access to capital?
The amazing one to me is that, what was it, last year, the year before, you went to Riga and conducted a course of 25,000 people from all over Europe.
Russia, out in California, to any that's with him, and I called him and let him taught me how to.
I think, yeah, well, I think we probably have talked.
It was a very prejudiced town, and I had many friends, many white friends, all white friends, and I went to school there, and then I was athletic, as small as I am. I was very, very, very good at athletic, and Pittsburgh wouldn't permit.
All right, so this is just a video you can watch on your own. Basically, he's saying that they went back to the plantation, the Hairston plantation. He found out that his family was owned, his Hairston's family were owned on this plantation, and he thinks that, or he's saying that he is the descendant of a slave owner that owned his family. However, right before we get to the real truth, we're gonna get to the comments. He finished college in 1929. Wow. Ray, I'm not gonna read this, that comment. Having Jester on set of Amen must have been a wonderful education experience for cast crew. These guys are talking about the 20s, World War II like it was yesterday. My entire life, I love listening to older people's stories. Ray, the fact that he wasn't a slave and he wasn't a slave owner, but became great friends with Mason, right? Alright. Alright. Bunch of, comments, right? Now let's get now here's the thou shalt not lie, right? Pearson Hairston was the great grandson of Jester's great grandfather's owner. So that's Jester, and that's the so-called person who owned Jester's grandfather. Now, we live in 2026. We're not in that time anymore. They're not hiding anything anymore. Or this archive was still there, but we can actually get to the archive faster now. So like I said, it's so easy, right? First, we're going to look up Jefferson Hairston slave ancestor. Composer and actor Jester Hairston was born in Blues Creek, North Carolina, to parents Lewis Hairston and Nanny Remy. His grandparents had been enslaved on the Hairston plantations. Because of his enslaved ancestors' influence, particularly his grandmother who sang and told him stories of the plantation life, he dedicated his life to preserving Negro spirituals and folk music. The Hairstons were a prominent and massive Southern family. White members of the Hairston family owned dozens of plantations and thousands of slaves across North Carolina and Virginia, including the Coolmey plantation and properties in Stokes and Rockingham counties, as were common. Harrison's ancestors took the surname of their enslavers, right? Because they believed 1865 slaves got freed. However, we also learned in 1866 Free Emancipation Proclamation, Freedmen Civilized Tribes, that the formerly enslaved individuals and free black people residing with the 5 civilized tribes were officially freed and granted tribal citizenship through legally binding peace treaties with the United States signed in 1866. So that's when blacks were actually freed. And it was only about 10 to 15,000. Right? So, yeah, I said 10 to 15,000. We're going to make a video for it, guys. But look. Right? If blacks were actually free in 1866, right? Why in the world does he have a surname? Right? So, let me show you this. Here's a lot. White members of the Hairston family owned dozens of plantations, thousands of slaves across North Carolina and Virginia. All you have to do is go to what? Free Negro owners of slaves in the United States in 1830, together with absentee ownership of slaves in the United States in 1830. Publication date, 1924. Right? Carter G. Woodson. All you have to do is pretty simple. Just type Hairston. Watch this. Boom, page 74. Right? Virginia. Negro slave owner. Hardin Hairston. John A. Hairston. Samuel Hairston. Samuel A. Hairston owned 50 slaves. John A. Hairston, 7. Hardin A. Hairston, 7. Right? Negro slave owners. Now, watch this. Hairston family, right? The Hairston family were among the largest and most prominent slave-owning dynasties in American history. Over 2 centuries, they enslaved more than 10,000 people across 45 plantations in Virginia, North Carolina, and Mississippi. Samuel Hairston. Whoa. Samuel Hairston. But now we go to Negro census. Boom. Samuel Hairston. Right? It's not saying the other people. Right? Oh, wait. Yeah, it's not saying other people. But that's all we needed. We don't need to find to see if Hardin or John A. were called white. We already found Samuel being, right? Let's see if they call Samuel white. Was Samuel Hairston slave owner white? Right? Yep, they called him white. Yeah, Samuel Hairston was probably the richest man in Virginia, possibly the United States in lifetime, and possessed and land slaves worth $5 million. He also reportedly the largest slave owner in the South. Yet, by his expansive and wealth history, the white family has failed. They called him white, right? But it says, right? It says he's Negro, black. So someone lied. Bingo! You were the slave owner. He was the slave. Most likely, right? Or he could descend from the same black slave, but no. They're wearing the same outfit, right? He just said he took his bed, right? Might have been out. He probably was sleeping in his bed, right? And then we don't even know if he gave him that. If the Jester gave him that dress shirt and pants, we don't know. So yeah, there's the truth. There's the real Hairston slave owner right there. We just found it. You don't think this man is related to these people? I'm done.